Select ribbon and 5 basic tools of Adobe Illustrator. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Illustrator Essential. Well, in this lesson, we are going to learn about the select ribbon. In our previous lesson, we learned about our type ribbon and also the 5 basic tools. So in this lesson, we are going to start off with our select ribbon. Before getting into that lesson, let's just open up one of the presets which I use most of the time. But obviously, you can use whichever one you want. So after I've selected that, or after I've selected my preset, it will take a bit of a time for it to load it up on my screen. And there we go, we have it. Now I'm going to do is cut this off, and I'm going to do is keep it wherever I want it to be. Now what I'm going to be doing is obviously clicking on the select ribbon, because this lesson is about the select ribbon. So I'm going to click on select, and there we have all about the selection option of objects or photos or whatever element is in my artboard. Now you can see that most of them are grayed out. But before that, what I'm going to be doing is going to be applying a couple of shapes, couple of text, or maybe even a photo, so that I can select all of them or do whatever I want with that specific element in my artboard. So I'm going to do is first off click on the shape option. I'm going to do is make a couple of shapes over here. There we go, we have our first shape, second shape, and then we have our third shape. Now I'm going to do is put on a couple of text over here. I'm going to do is increase the size of this text. There we go. I'm going to put another text over here and another text over here. There we go. Now as we put in our text and also our shape, the last thing I'm going to be doing is going to be applying a photo. Now how do I do that? Click on File, and then what you're going to do is click on Open, or you can also place Embedded if you want to. But I'm going to do is click on Open, and as this interface opens up, what you're going to do is click the photo or use whichever one you want, press on Open, and that photo will appear up on your screen in a new workspace. Now, first thing I'm going to do is going to be zooming out so that I can crop up the photo and see it according to my need. Okay, now how do you do that? First off, hold on to Alt on your keyboard, and then you will basically see it like this. Hold on to Alt and scroll out. Now select the photo or select this over here. Hold on to Shift so that you get an exact, or let's say a better size, or the exact size. Hold on to Shift. There we go. Then what I'm going to do is drag it down right over on the panel which we are using over here. There we go. We have it. I'm going to use hold on Alt, and then let's see where it is. If it doesn't appear up, what you're going to do is do the same thing again. Go over here. I'm going to do is take it right over here on this untitled one, blank space. Now if we have it over there, what you're going to do is click it over here. I'm going to do is take it around in this space. Now let's zoom out and see if it is over here. If it is still not there, what you're going to do is do another thing, is we're going to place the photo right over here. I'm going to do is take that, Control C, I'm going to just paste it right around over here, Control V. It will take a bit of a time, and there we go, we have it. What I'm going to do is also zoom this out. I'm going to do is hold on a Shift, and there we go, we have the photo too. Now as we have all the elements we need, now I'm going to do is obviously use the selection ribbon. Okay, now how do I use the selection ribbon? First off, I'm going to do is click on Select, and you have this All. Well, Control and A is for select all. If you've used previous software such as Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Lightroom, Adobe Premiere Pro, or even Microsoft Word, or maybe Microsoft, let's say, PowerPoint or Excel, or even use your PC, you can see that when you press Control A, it selects all of the elements, right? It works the same way in Adobe Illustrator. If I press on Control A, all of the elements which I have in my artboard will be selected, and you can drag them all together at once when all of them are selected. But if you select on one of them, you will be able to move one of them at a time. Now you can also select it like this, and you can also select it like Control and A. And you can see this is how it works. It works the same way when I press on Select and press on All. You can see how this works. Now I'm going to do is going to be applying a couple of artboards There we go. Now, as I have a couple of artboards, you can see artboard 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Now, I'm going to do is select the active artboard. So I'm going to click on select all on active artboards. You can see all on active artboards. You can see none of them are selected. All on active artboard. I'm going to do select this. Click on select all on active artboard, and you can see that only this part has been selected. And even if I have any other elements over here, let's try this over here. I'm going to do press on Alt, drag it right over there. I'm going to do is select on this element again and click on select all on artboard. Now you can see that this one is the active artboard right now because I'm working on this one, not on the other ones. So if you select any specific element on a specific artboard which is active, you'll be able to select only on that artboard, okay? So all of the elements in that active artboard will be selected all at the same time. So it's going to be up to you how you're going to work with it. Now click on select again, and then we have is deselect. If you've selected all of them at once, let's say I'm going to use press on Control A. And if you want to deselect them, you can see when I press on Control A, all of the elements in all artboard have been selected at the same time. You can see also the the text which is over here on this artboard has been selected at the same time. But we don't want that, okay? So obviously when you want to use it on active ones, just press on select on all active, or let's say on active artboards, okay? Then we have is deselect. You can also deselect by pressing on Shift Control and A, and that part will be deselected. Now, sometimes what happens is that if you have a lot of elements and if you've like selected something which you don't want to select, you can use this option or this command of deselect, okay, so that it will be deselected. Now, when you go off to the selection, now we have reselect. So if you select on this and press on select, and you can reselect that specific object. Let's say I'm going to do select all of them. Click on select and you can reselect it if you have already selected it previously, and you can also reselect it, okay? It's similar to select or deselect or reselect. It's kind of like that. If you want to do it, you will just redo the process. That's the thing, okay? Now I'm going to do is go off to select, and we have inverse. Now let's say I'm going to do select on this, but instead of that, I want this part to be selected. So I'm going to click on select and inverse it, and all the parts except for this one will be selected. But if I select maybe, let's say 2 of these, but I don't want 2 of these to be selected. I want other parts except these 2. So I'm going to click on select again and press on inverse. You can see except those 2, all the elements that are in my artboard has been selected at the same time. You can also try using the shortcut key, okay? But there is no shortcut key, assigned to inverse. But except for that, all of them has shortcut assigned to each and every one. Now you can reselect it if you want to. You can see now how this reselect option or the reselect tool or command works in Adobe Illustrator. Now let's go off to select again, and then we have is next object above. Now if you have any object above, or maybe the next one, you can select it like this, as this one has been selected. Now if I click on select and press on next object below, you can see this has been selected. Now why is it below? This is not actually below, right? This is at the top, these 2 are at the bottom. But let me just show it to you. If I drag it over here, you can see this part is above this one, and this part is below. So if I click on this element and take it over there, this is the bottom one. So first off, let me select the bottom one, and when I press on select above, it will be selected, then this will be selected. Okay, let's just try it out. Click on select, next object above. You can see this one has been selected. Now if I click it on again, next object above, you can see this one has been selected. It works the same way when I select on this next object below, okay? What the shortcut key is Alt, Control, and second bracket open and close. Let's try it from our keyboard. Shift, Control, and Control bracket, or second bracket open and second bracket close. Let's try it. I'm going to do select on it. You can also select it like this. You can just click on select and next object below. You can see this is the one. Now if I click on it, click on select again. Next object below is this one. Click on select again. Next object below is going to be this one. Okay, so now you know how this works. Okay, now what I'm going to learn is going to be a bit different. We have same. Now, if you have any object which are kind of the same of the appearance or the blending mode, you can do that. Let's say what are the like selected ones which are going to be the same. Now, what I'm going to do is click on all of them, click on select, and you're going to go off over here, click on appearance, and they are the same, right? So these are the ones that are same. So I'm going to do select one of the objects, click on select, click on same, appearance. You can see these are the ones that are the same. Now, if I click on text, I'm going to click on select. Now let's say I'm going to do select the ones which are the same. Let's say I'm going to do is go off the same and click on appearance. So these are the ones that are the same. Not this object, but these ones are the same. Okay. And if I click on this and if I search for same, it will not show me any. But let's just try like making a copy of this over here. And you can see that there are two of these. So I'm going to do select one over here and click on select. I'm going to go off the same and appearance. You can see these two are the same. Okay. So now you know how this select option works. Now you can also find out ones with the same blending mode, appearance attributes, maybe the fill and stroke, fill color, opacity, stroke color, stroke weight, and then font family. It's going to be up to you. Now let's try something. I'm going to do select on this. I'm going to do change this font into maybe, let's say this one. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Click on this one. I'm going to do is change it to manuscript. Okay. Now I'm going to do select on this element. I'm going to do is go off the select, go off the same, and I want the same font family. You can see these two are the same font family. So it just helps you to find out the ones which are the same. Now you can fill up the criteria by selecting on the one type of criteria you want to search for. Let's say you want to search for the same font family, you want to search for the same color. Now if I change the color on these ones and also like change it, let's say I'm going to just change it to green, this one, do the same thing over here, green, this one. Now if I go off the select, I'm going to go off the same and I want the same fill color. You can see these two are the same fill color. While we do the same thing over here, go off the select and go off the same and I want the same fill color. These are the same. So now you know how this works. Now if I click on select again, click on same and go off the stroke color, you can see these are all the same because all of the strokes are the same even though if the fonts are different. So now you know how the select option works or the same option works in, Adobe Illustrator. So you can fiddle through it for a while and, see how all of them works. And also, you can like check. Okay. Then we have is this object. Now all on same layer. You can put all of the elements on the same layer. Now which elements are on the same layer? You can click on same layer and you can see all of these are on the same layer. Well, layer basically works a bit different from, how these objects are in a specific panel. So there is going to be a separate lesson where we're going to learn about layers because layer is one of the most important feature and also a very important thing you have to do when you are designing anything or working on Adobe Illustrator. Okay, then I'm going to do is click on select again and then we're going to do is go off the object. Now you can see direction handles. We can see there's bristle brush strokes, clipping mask, straight points, all text objects. So it will just basically find out that it's like basically same. You can see over here the same, features, which you can find out the same elements. And in objects, it's going to find out the same objects on, with the same layer, maybe direction handles, brush strokes. Then we have brush strokes and clipping mask, whichever elements there are on the same object or which objects are the same is going to find that out for you. Let's say all text objects. You can see these are the all text objects which are the same. So you know how this object or let's say this section works too. Now you can also use start global editing. It basically helps you to work on it simultaneously, but we're going to skip this part. Then we have is save selection. Now in save selection, what happens is that you can save up any specific part of your element or any part of your work. Let's say I want to save only these two parts of this project or this artboard and I don't want anything to be saved rather than this. So what you're going to do is click on select and then you have the save selection option. Then these parts will be selected and press on OK and then you are good to go. Even if we cut this part out, let's say I'm going to do is press on cross. I'm going to do like click on no and still this part will be like saved. Let's go off the file, click on open recent files. Let's say I'm going to do is select the file which I have. I'm going to go off to home first, and let's see how this works. And you can see that the selection part will be saved. Okay, you can see it over here. We have our photo. Now, if I go off to shared documents or the part where I put in my element that is saved, I have to go off to recent, and then I have to like open it up from over here. You can see that it is opening up, but this is giving me this one. So I'm going to do is use any of the saved ones. Now if I go off on open recent files, now if I click on this or maybe this one, it will show me the one which I had before. You can see as soon as I opened it up, this part which was saved has been opened. So this is basically how it works on Adobe Illustrator. Now, as we are done with the saved selections, and you can also edit the selection, you have it over here. Now, what we can do also is like customize the edited or the selected or the saved ones. You can mask it up if you want to, but we're going to go through that later on. So we're basically done with this selection panel or the selection ribbon in Adobe Illustrator. Now we're going to go off to the next 5 tools which we have in Adobe Illustrator, and as we are done with almost all of them, so we're going to go through the next 5 ones which we didn't cover up in our previous lesson. So the tools which you're going to learn about is going to be our blend tool, then we have is our symbol spreader tool, column graph tool, then we have as artboard tool, and then we're going to learn about the slicer tool. So let's start off with our blender tool. Now, how do you blend specific object? I'm going to show it to you, okay? Now, instead of this, I'm going to do is remove these elements. You can see it over here. I'm going to do is apply in different shapes. Also, I'm going to do is make a square like this. I'm going to do is change it to yellow. I'm going to do is change it to another shape. Also, I'm going to do is start off with an ellipse tool. What I'm going to do is make a circle over here. Now, what if I say I want to blend these two together? So I'm going to do is click on this blending tool. I'm going to do is take it right over here. You can see it over here. You can see how this works. This is how it will look like. Now, if you're going to right click on it, and you'll be able to customize it according to your need, you can basically see that this is how it is kind of looking like, but this is the path and of this blend. What I'm going to do is click on this over here. I'm going to do is take it over here and make another one. Now, let's see how this basically looks like. Sometimes it crashes a bit, so you don't have to worry about it. So if it doesn't work, you can try off with other shapes. What I'm going to do is make another shape over here. I'm going to do is make another shape over here. Okay, and then we're going to do is try blending these two at the same time. You can see it over here, or maybe somewhere from over here to here. And you can see that there is this section where it is a bit blended, right? Even though you will not be able to select the part which is in the middle. Both of them will be selected at the same time, okay? So this is basically how blending works in Adobe Illustrator. Well, you can do a lot more than these. Well, this is just the basics, so what we're gonna do is keep it till here. Now, the next one we have is the spray or symbol spread tool. Now, if you want to use any like symbol as a spray, you can put it up over here. Now, you have to first off select a symbol panel. Okay, I'm going to do is first off select a symbol from over here, or maybe I'm going to do is right click on it. Then you have to select on the symbol, whichever symbol you want to use. Now, I'm going to do is if you don't have your symbol panel over here, what you can do is you have to make sure that your symbol panel is on your workspace. So I'm going to do is first off remove this part because we're not going to be needing that right now. First thing you're going to do is go off to Windows and you will find out symbols over here. You can see symbols and you can basically see that there are a couple of symbols that are selected. Now you can use those specific symbols whenever you want. Now let's say I'm going to use this. You can see that these are the symbols which you can use as a spray. Right? And you can also use this if you want to. You can see a couple of them has appeared over there. If you keep it holding, you can see that it just multiplies and it will basically fill up the whole circle, but it will, also go out the circle if you hold it too long. You can see a couple of them has been sprayed over here, but as I don't want it, I'm going to do is remove them because I don't like it. It just looks very messy. So this is basically how you use the spray symbol tool. Then we have a symbol shifter tool. You can also use the shifter First off, you have to select any, symbol. You can see it over here. Then I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to do is use this, symbol spreader tool and select any element. And I'm going to do is, first off, make sure that I have a couple of symbols over here. And then I'm going to do is change it to symbol shifter. You can see it over here. You can change it or shift it wherever you want. Okay. Then the next tool which we are going to learn about is going to be the symbol scruncher. You can also scrunch them up if you want to. I'm going to do is zoom in. I'm going to do scrunch it up. You can scrunch them if you want to. Let's say I'm going to do select on any one of these elements. I'm going to do scrunch it up. And it will be scrunched up. Okay, basically it's not working because it's a single element and very small. So you just have to either like have a bigger or custom made symbol so that you can scrunch it up if you want to. Then we have a symbol sizer. You can also size them up if you want to, increase them if you want to. Now the next one we have is the symbol spinner. You can also spin them if you want to. What I'm going to do is take it over in this angle and it will be rotated. It also works as a rotationary, tool. Then we have is this stainer. You can also put in stains if you want to. You can see the stains over here. You can change the color. Okay. Then the next one we have is the symbol screener. You can also screen them up if you want to. It just basically works like it's getting blended to the screen. And the next one we have is the symbol styler. You can also style them up if you want to. Select on any element and you can see that it has been styled. And you can also see that there is a couple of, background on it. This is basically how it works. It basically just turns into a type of a pattern so that it kind of looks good. Okay. Then if you screen all of them up, it will look the same. What I'm going to do is click on symbol screener. You can see it over here. It will turn into screens. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and basically all looks kind of the same. Okay, so this is basically how you use this tool in Adobe Illustrator. Then the next tool which you're going to learn about is going to be column and graphs. This is very simple. If you want to make a column and graph, you can see it over here and you can apply in your data from this panel. Let's say I'm going to do is put 1. Let's say I'm going to put in 3. The next one I'm going to put in 2 and the 5. I'm going to do same thing over here, 3. Put in tab 2, 7, 2, 2, shift tab. Do this 3, 1, tab 4. There we go. Press on OK. There we go. We have our graph. Now you can change it up. If you've seen my previous lesson, you already know how you will be able to change the graph or make custom graphs. So this is basically how this works. Then we have is our artboard. If you want to apply any artboard on your screen, there you go, you have it. This is very simple. And if you've already seen this lesson, you already know how you'll be able to make artboards. And the last one we have is the slicer tool. If you want to put slices in between specific elements or make a separate section for your work or your panel, you can make it through here. You can see this, you will be able to make slices or separate section for your elements in your own artboard. Okay, now you can see that there are 2 sections. This is 8 photos and this is 3 photos. So this is basically how it works. Then we have is this slice selection tool. You can also select the slices one and remove them whenever you want. And you can even drag it and also make copies of them. And you can also take them to another panel over here. See, this is very simple. So hope you learned everything in this lesson about all the tools and also about the select ribbon in Adobe Illustrator and what functionality it has to offer. In our next lesson, we're going to learn about this effect ribbon because there are a lot of it. We might also make this, lesson into 2 parts because these are like gonna take a lot of time. And then we're gonna learn about the last, tools and also the color palette about Adobe Illustrator. So without any further ado, let's just hop onto the lesson of Adobe Illustrator Essential.